me too, please.
Yeah, we can make extra copies, so I just pop them all out. So no worries. So Scotty wanted me to just talk briefly. So what we were going to do is we'll look at a market study. Then a couple of you have talked about, hey, we really haven't talked about contracts or stuff. So I thought we'd run through that, and then we can just run through whatever questions and other things we have. So it'll kind of be a little catch-all today for the training. But so the idea behind the market study is to learn the neighborhoods, learn the areas. It's as you're driving buyers around, you'll be in different areas and they'll say, well, hey, how much is that house, or where do these go? And and it's so nice just to know what to be able to answer sort of intelligently. That's why some different strategies you can even use are especially when you're newer and you don't have a lot going on. It's like, okay, like this afternoon, this ends at 4:30, whatever time we end. What are you going to do on the way home? Well, go look at one or two houses on the way home. Just look it up. You have lockbox, and even if you go look at the vacant ones, get in.
Is there a way to find vacant ones easy?
Yep, search by vacant.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you can.
Yeah, you can search by anything. Show instructions, vacant. So yeah, that's what I'll do to catch up. Is and I can show you how all that works.
Okay, yeah, I'd like
But
to know.
but yeah,
Because I've thought about doing that so often. I was like, how am I going to go through every listing to see?
And you
if
can
it's
even
vacant?
like search by broker opens and stuff if you want to like do the broker open route.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's like, and that's how I really learned the area. Because when I moved from Burke to out here, it was like 13 years ago.
Yeah.
I knew more about Burke and Fairfax and those areas. I didn't know Albany and Ashburn and some of these. So, I just started going and looking at houses. Like, okay, I live in South Riding now, so I started every house that comes up in South Riding I get into. It's like just you got to know your neighborhood.
So do you go in there even if they're not vacant?
Yep.
So it's
Just-
okay because
yeah.
I feel like I'm
No,
inconveniencing the
just call up,
family
what the showing instructions are and say that, hey, this is David Werfel, I'm over at Remax and I wanted to come through and preview your home.
Okay.
And, almost
We
everyone's
have
gonna
that
say it's
option
fine.
too on the showing time.
Yeah.
It'll be showing to
A
apply
buyer
it
or
or
preview.
preview. You just click preview.
And sometimes if it's only a preview, the people just stay home.
Okay.
If it's a mom or dad with 2 or 3 little kids,
Uh-huh.
because I've called and they're like, oh wow, do we have to leave? I've got 3 little kids, one might be napping. I'm like, no, I just want to come look at your house.
Yeah.
And, I'm always working with buyers and just want to know the neighborhood.
Okay.
So I don't know about the preview button.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's an option for preview.
Yeah, so it talks about what type of buyer, then also it's a first or second showing.
Oh, yeah, yep, right around there.
And there's
Okay.
an option for preview. Because I do that for anything that comes up in Triangle.
Right.
I preview every single
Yeah.
property that comes up there.
Yeah.
I didn't hit that one time.
Yeah,
Made
but-
the whole family leave.
But yeah, but there's
Yeah.
yeah, and then you're in and out because it doesn't take long. It's like
Right.
it's not like you're gonna go through and look. It's like just run through all the rooms and come down and
I'm always looking at basements.
yeah.
Look
Yeah,
at what?
and just making notes and even looking at the when you have your listing, I always print up just the agent synopsis. It's 1 page, and you go down and because I can't tell you how many times it's like it'll just say like nothing under basement. It's like okay, hey, there's a walkout or there's non-walkout or there's a bath down here. Or, this says there's 4 bedrooms on the main level when it's a 3-level house and they're all up on the upper level. So just knowing knowing your area, knowing your thing. So. But yeah, if you look, this is a little guide. Scotty actually put this together himself. Can't tell. But what he likes to do is pick a neighborhood. So he always suggests the one you live in. If you live in South Riding, you live in Woodbridge, Fairfax.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of where everybody lives. Down her way, Triangle in that area. Pick a neighborhood and then go through. And the MLS works really nice. I'm gonna shut this off. Sorry. Go through the MLS and then do some research. Google. A lot of these neighborhoods, South Riding's got their own website. They've got the builder website. Some of the realtors have put websites up. Go through all of them and look, and you're going to learn. It's like okay, there's 6,035 homes in here, and of that, this is how many detached homes. This is how many townhomes. This is how many condos, and then you can also learn that there's some rentals and apartments over there, and then go through it. Are they still doing new construction in the neighborhood? And then, some of that's, how old is it? How old's the neighborhood? So all of that's good information to know. because, you know, I can't tell you how many times, even my house, it's like, how old's the house? You know, like my wife will say, hey, how old's the water heater? I'm like, okay, we've never replaced it, so it's gotta be, you know,
I wish everybody
Oh, yeah,
put
yeah.
the date on the side of the hot water heater when it was put
Installed
in.
on.
oh, yeah.
Well, the new
Real
ones all
important.
have their date on them.
Oh, they
Yeah.
do?
So the
Okay.
new ones have the date on the
Little tag.
little info tag, and the old ones you can usually tell the date based on the serial number.
Yeah.
It'll say, it'll be the, isn't it the year and then
The month.
the
or two.
month?
Is it the
or-
serial number?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
usually in
okay.
the
Yeah,
serial.
if you
built
put,
into
if you
the
put it
serial
on, if
number.
you Google the serial number, a lot of times it'll tell you
Yeah.
what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, so just learn the neighborhood. So work out you can see the next little part there, if you look at the last 6 months, and I can run through this. I think everybody's been in MLS maybe, but you guys, just because they're just starting out here. But, you know, set searches up. And you know, you can set some predetermined searches and all of that up, and then just change, you know, South Riding to Stonebridge to Stonebridge to, you know, wherever you are. It could be Woodbridge or Manassas Park or wherever. You know, it works for everywhere. But this is really good. So take your neighborhood, or any neighborhood you're thinking about farming. You know, if you're thinking about doing some farming, go through, really learn the neighborhood, learn what the pricing is in there. Go through and figure out what the days on market are. And then on bigger neighborhoods, I would expand this. So in other words, what's the days on market for single family up to, let's say, 500, single family from 5 to 750, and single, you know, 750 plus. And you can play with all those numbers.
Can you find that on MRS, or you
Yeah.
can? We need to have a class on that.
Yeah, it's search. Yeah, so in fact, we'll look at it here too.
Okay.
But yeah, it's you know, real easy, because, you know, there's different ways, and I'm sure Susie and I do it completely different ways, but we get to the same the same results. And then too, there's things called
I
smart
always do it the
charts.
very complicated way.
Yeah, and I think we all do, but there's even, you know, some tools out there like smart charts that have a free version. I actually pay for the expanded version, so I can really narrow down. So just like this past weekend, like 3 of our folks went on listing appointments, and they called and said, hey, can you run the numbers real quick for whatever neighborhood? And it's easy, I can do it from my iPad and just email it to you. So, you know, that's really easy to do. And it's neat, because you go in there with something nobody else is
Yeah,
going
that's
out
the
with.
main thing when you go on listing appointments, is coming
Be
in
different.
with something other than what everybody else is coming with.
And if
Smart
you-
charts and RPR reports.
If you know your numbers, you know, you're halfway there, because there are still agents coming out just winging it. You know, like, hey, yeah, this is nice, South Riding's nice, let's see, there's, you know, 12 houses for sale, you know, no, you know, yep, there's 12 houses for sale, I've been in 11 of them, you know, just be able to talk to the market. And then learning it from the buyer. So, you know, when you're doing that, look at the, you know, what the appreciation is. You can search by seeing, okay, over the last 90 days or the last 6 months, who were the listing agents and who were the selling agents. So look at, you know, I personally look at both brokerage and who the agent is. So, you know, like South Riding at one point was heavily dominated by Long & Foster with Ron Rush and his whole team. And then it started to spread out a little bit, and then, you know, you've got some of the Century 21s, and now Remax has a big, you know, emphasis in there. So if you look at, you know, individuals like me, okay, well, you know, I probably have only sold, what, 4 or 5 in South Riding this year. But you look at Remax Gateway, you know, there's, what, 6 agents in this office that live over there, and then everybody else that's selling, so you can say, hey, Remax Gateway sold this many, and then Remax overall sold this. And that's what I usually do when I go into a neighborhood that's heavily dominated by another company or another listing. And especially when you're newer, you know, because you're not going in there saying I sold 7 houses. You know, you can go in there and say, well, you know, over the past 90 days, you know, we've had 20 sales, and, you know, 11 of those were sold by Remax Gateway. And then, you know, if you look at just Remax, it was 14 or whatever the number is.
That's what I
And-
do
and
all
then-
the time, is
yeah.
use Remax.
Yeah,
I do have a
use,
quick question.
yeah, use the Remax, so yes.
Is there an easy way to figure out the percentage of appreciation? Like, without doing the old fashioned, like, you have to do old fashioned?
And what,
That's
I've
the easy
been
way to
using
do
the
it.
smart charts.
Okay, Cause that's what I use as smart charts, but sometimes when you're just looking real quick,
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
smart
because you
charts.
just can't automatically say, hey, 3%, because you
Yeah.
can usually, yeah, but the smart charts, if you really do
and
the
also is there
detailed
an
breakup.
easier way to figure out the percentage of movement? Like I kinda do it with triangle, but like, do you know what I mean, like the percentage of how many people move every.
Oh, the
What's that
turnover,
called? Yeah, the turnover. Cause that to me is super important, like what
It
the
is.
turnover is for a neighborhood. I don't wanna waste my money on a property
Yeah.
in a neighborhood that's turning over 5% when I could be focusing on somebody that is
it's
doing
7%
8%,
or
7 or 8%. So,
yeah.
like, is there an
I
easy
do-
way to figure
I,
that
I,
out?
I always do it the long way too,
Okay,
so I don't.
that's why I'm here.
And then we'll go back to Scott and find out how he does it, but, you know, and I think.
Because I
what-
literally go by the
Yeah.
number of sales and by the number of houses and divide it and.
how many there are in the
Yeah.
neighborhood and
Yeah.
how many sold in the last
Okay.
year, and yeah, I do the
I
same
was hoping
thing.
that-
And you're
so
saying that
sure.
helps you determine where you market
The,
yourself?
the turnover
Yes.
rate, so
Yeah.
in other words, it happens less here because we're in a pretty transient area, but let's say you go to like Newport Beach, California, where the turnover rate is very low. You know, people get their house on the water or whatever and they stay.
Yeah, like
So,
that's
it
a big
doesn't-
deal. Like
Yeah.
my subdivision, we don't have a big turnover rate because same thing, it's water.
Yeah.
People don't move. When they move there to retire, they don't move there to really leave unless you're in a different part of it. Turnover rate is everything. I'm not gonna spend, $500 a month on marketing on an area that turns over
Yeah.
3 to 5%, even if they're $1 million houses, because I'm gonna spend that $500 on the $300,000 properties that turn over, at a 7 to 8% is a good turnover rate.
And where do you find that? You can find that in MLS?
That's what, well.
Yeah,
that's
I was
what
hoping he
you
had
work-
a,
you-
like
that's
a
when you-
secret.
Yeah, that's when you work your
sauce.
numbers, is that you look at how many you've sold in the past year
Uh-huh.
and how many there are, and then you can just work out
I
the
see.
percentage.
I see, okay.
Yeah, I was hoping you had
Yeah,
some
it gets a little more difficult even too, where there's new homes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, people are buying the new homes, but some of them aren't listed, some are listed.
Right.
So, but yeah, the idea, just what she said, the idea being is that, if you've got 500 homes in a community and only 10 sell a year, well, that turnover rate's not all that great.
Right.
So you probably don't wanna spend thousands of dollars trying to, market homes in there, where if you go over to some other community that 50 of those 500 sell every year, well, then that's
And
another.
like, if you know your
crazy
numbers,
rate.
that makes such a big difference. Like, I know there's 67, as of yesterday, 67 sold properties, over 400,000 in Triangle. Like, I don't only do Triangle, but that's where I live, so I know, and I focus on 400 and over, that's my number. Like, I know, okay, 67 of those houses have sold. And that's, like, knowing how many houses are on the market or what's selling, like, that's how you get listings. Is really
It is.
knowing
It's the confidence, knowing the
Yeah.
numbers, and then being able to present yours.
and being able to walk
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, because if you go in knowing, if you ask the right questions before you go,
Mhm.
I think you do a pretty.
I walk away more times
Well, I
than
know,
ever.
but
and
you
then come
do,
back.
you do a whole question before
Oh,
you
yeah.
go out.
Yeah, before I go out.
So in other words, I come out and I have and I'll be more than happy to share all this with you, but, it's like, hey, before I come out, there are a few questions I have, do you have a few minutes? And, you said you're moving to Omaha, right? Yes, and you wanted to sell your house because, you moved to Omaha, new job, and you wanted 300,000 for it, and, you just go down through all the questions, and it's like, are you interviewing
And do
more
it the
than one
way he's
agent?
saying, like,
Yeah.
don't say, oh, I have, like, this, it's almost like I'm talking to you, but I'm asking you those questions, but just like you were asking the questions, don't say, okay, number one, I'm gonna, how long is this? You have to work it into the conversation,
Yeah, you
unless
work
they'll
it in.
feel like they're filling out a form.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and listen for them to answer, so you guys are moving to Illinois and you have to be there in 3 months, is that right? And then wait for them, and we've all done it, it's like, okay, yeah, you gotta be in 3 months, you need 200,000, okay, we're good, and then you haven't said a word.
Yeah.
So, go through there, also, I'll ask people, are you planning on interviewing more than one agent for the job of selling your home? Some will say yes, some will say no. Okay, that's great, always agree with them, they could say, whatever. Okay, that's great, hey, who else are you talking to? Well, I'm also talking to Susie's Inn and Lamont. Okay, that's great. And then just keep going down through. But now, when you go out, now I'm hanging up the phone, and before I ever come out to your house, now I know what all your objections are gonna be. Because I know the guys who I'm in competition with, or if I don't, I'm gonna find out. I know that you have a concern on price, I know you have a concern on maybe commission. And it's like, now I'm prepped, I'm not surprised. by going out there, where, you know, I come in and think I'm the only one going out, and all of a sudden they're like, no, we're talking to 12 more agents.
Do you like being the first or the last?
It doesn't matter.
I never know if I like being the first.
Yeah, I like.
Because you have some people that are like, oh, I want to interview all of them, or like sometimes when you're first, you sell them right there.
Yeah, if
It just depends.
more often than not, I've gotten the listing on the first where they're like, Dave,
Yeah.
you're great, you know, but we've already made these other appointments, and then,
I will cancel them.
but
for you.
yeah, you can spin it around, and that's what I do. You know, I'm like, hey, look, you know, this is great, I'm excited to get started, let's do the paperwork, and I tell you what, I'll call the other agents, I know them, and I'll be nice and friendly and say, hey, we're just gonna cancel the appointment, you know,
And
you're
I'd
gonna
love
list
for
with
them
me.
to bring the
Yep.
their
And
buyers
invite
over.
them to
blah,
have
blah,
buyers
blah.
come over. And I've done that. And I've done it to, you know, we have a little platinum group here, and it was like Spencer and Ken Ely are both in that group, and we've done it to each other. And it's kind of funny because, you know, it's happened over years, but there's been times where I'm like, hey Susie, it's Dave, hey, I just listed the Joneses' house, you had an appointment tomorrow, just wanted to call and say, hey, you know,
Yes,
maybe next time. No, but then it's true, because like they call me
I've had it
back,
done
you know, they call me back, and it all goes around, you know. But
So then you say you have to be willing to walk away. Why do you walk away?
I don't, yeah, I
Let's
don't,
change, not to cut you off, but let's change your situation. The condo you're talking about, you know, let's say they're all selling at 2.25, and your lady wants to list at 250, and she wants you to cut your commission to 4.5. And there's nothing you can say that will make her change her mind in pricing the property right, or standing up to the value that you're charging. So,
then you would walk away.
Yeah.
Oh, that's when you walk
Because
away. I see.
that was
I
like
see.
my biggest mistake when I was younger,
You would
or not
try.
younger, but like in the
You're still
newer.
I'm just
Still
winning
going
brownie
to do it.
points now, this is good.
No, but I mean, when you're new, you're like, holy crap, I have no business. I just want something. I want my sign up. I want to sell. I wasted so much time, money, energy, and negativity where I could have been focused on getting something else. Because I was so focused on being miserable with this one listing that wouldn't sell. My whole life was wrapped around this one property instead of focusing my energy on something else that's actually going to sell. And I'm a big one, like, I know numbers are way bigger up here, but I'm all about getting three $300,000 properties than one $900,000 property. You give me those three little properties night and day, I am happy as can be. Y'all can keep the $1 million properties. Is that, like, for me,
Send
that
them over to me,
doesn't.
I'll give you.
I will. Hook me up with 25%
There you-
referral.
There we go.
But
But that's just it.
just the difference.
You know, and you know, and everybody's got different listing presentations. You know, I go out, and if I don't know who it is, and especially if it's Expire, FISBO, or whatever, it's like, you know, tonight you're going to decide to list your home with me. You're going to decide not to list your home with me, or I'm going to decide
You're
not to
always
take your listing.
nodding, you're never
Yeah.
knowing. You're
Yeah,
always
and,
nodding.
and then, you know, and before you know it, it was like, you know, you're gonna list your home with me, and before you, and it's funny, it works.
Yeah.
You know, before you know it, the people are like sitting there nodding,
Like, you
nodding,
do it
and
a
it's
lot,
like,
you know, watching you do it a
Yep.
lot, you've done the no a couple times,
Yep.
it's like, that presents like,
but,
it's like, okay, no, I'm not
but if you
gonna
go
do
into your
this, so-
presentation that way, you know, they never worry about the top two, they're like, why would you take our listing?
Mhm.
And then you can jump down, well, you know, it's probably gonna be because it's overpriced, or, you know, and you can just go through the reasons.
And so you tell them during that appointment?
Yeah, there's some where they're just.
Oh, yeah, so sometimes you just have to get up and walk out,
Yeah,
walk out.
and you wouldn't believe how many times they
Yeah.
call you back because they respect you for walking
Yep,
out.
yep, if the motivation's not there, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, you
And
know,
I'm not buying somebody's listing.
right.
I just dropped my rental.
Yeah. But that's it, but I also have, there's 3 cards that I have that I've saved over the years as to where people have written me cards just saying, hey, you know, we're really sorry we didn't go with you. You know, you told us the truth up front, we ended up selling the house, but we dropped price, blah, blah, you know, but, and it makes you feel good,
I
but
have
it's
a
like,
Zillow one where the guy was like, I wish I had listened to you the first 2 agents
yeah,
because you were my third and that was everything that you told me, because I had met him before he had even put his house on the market. He went through 2 other agents before contacting me, and literally to the penny, we got what I said it was worth. I go, I live this area, I know this area, this is what's going to work in this area.
yeah.
But what other agents do is they buy the listing, right?
Right.
Where basically they're like, your house is worth $500,000 and I'll sell it for 4.5%, 5%, blah, 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 blah. When they know that house is never gonna appraise for under, you know, over
And then they
475.
beat you up for the next, you know,
Yeah.
hey, you gotta drop price, you gotta drop price, you gotta drop price, you gotta drop price. And I would much rather have that conversation, as difficult it is right now, you know,
And sometimes it's okay to list a little higher, as long as they're under a plan of, okay, we're gonna list a little bit higher, we're gonna try, cause sometimes it works. Sometimes you're just, cause they know their neighborhood. They know it sometimes better than us of why people would move in there. And sometimes those higher prices do work. There's been times where I'm like, hey crap, I can't believe somebody would wanna pay that much money for the house, but it worked.
It goes
But
both
if
ways.
you have to set up where, okay, if it doesn't sell by 300,000, you know, or if we don't get any traffic or anything by the first 2 weeks, then we're gonna have to adjust the price accordingly.
Yeah,
and
take
just
the
set-
emotion out of it.
Yeah, you just set a schedule, and I have them actually sign up front. After 2 weeks, if we don't get this amount of showings and this, you know, a contract or something, then we're adjusting the price. And then I just pop them over to you as they come.
Okay, when we sign. But yeah, you know, take the emotion out of it, and it's like it's your business, and you know, and not that you want to fire customers, but sometimes that breakup is the best thing that could ever happen to you, because just like Susie says, you're so worried on that you're not doing everything else you should be doing to help your other customers or
It's a
go
hard
get
thing
no.
to learn, because I still suck at it. I mean,
No, we all do.
I still
But
sometimes
that's why it's cool to
dwell.
go into your mastermind calls and your, you know, accountability calls and meet with managers, meet with me, whoever, because, you know, I'll sit down and we'll talk about it. It's like, okay, that house has been on the market for a long time. And then you have to learn that, you know, like the sellers, you know, your house, the house you're going into could be backing up to 495 or 95. And, or there's the airport, you know, you can see United written on the plane, you know, flying over you, and it's like, oh, that never bothered us. Well, of course it's not, because they're living in the home. But, you know, the house that backs to the woods on the other side of the neighborhood is got a better lot premium than yours does. And the one I love is like, oh yeah, my neighbor's house, they gave that one away. You know, and it's like, okay, it was on the market for 180 days, you know, they didn't give it away.
What would you consider like a long, you know, an extended period of time on the market?
Well, once again, it's all
Depends on the
neighborhood
property. $1 million properties can sit there for a year before you find the right.
Yeah, but I mean like, you know, a $500,000 or $600,000 house.
Well, what I would say is that it's all neighborhood specific.
Yeah.
So, you know, if the average on the neighborhood is 20 days, and, you know, and of course that means there's some selling in 5 days and some selling in 40, all of a sudden you see one that's like 180, it's like, okay, what happened to that one?
So that's all, yeah.
But then it's always interesting to go back and play with it too, because if it's 180 and all of a sudden they started out at 600,000 and it took them that long to finally drop the price to get it down.
And it's market too, like Potomac Club right now, there was condos on there, because I was looking for a condo for a young lady. And there was condos sitting for 75 days, 89 days, 110 days. There was 16 condos, all sitting. As soon as we started looking at properties, one or two all of a sudden went under contract. I was like, oh, these things are going under contract. Told my client, hey, we need to probably be tight on pricing and, you know, do these certain things so we can get the next offer. She kept lowballing, because they're 16 and they've been sitting there. Nobody's wanting them. Within 3 weeks, all 16 properties went under contract. 4 more came on the market and went under contract within 2 days each.
And she
So-
would come up in price.
She would, I mean, we just went under contract last night, but it was not a property she wanted. She won't be skinny legs because there's like 32 stairs.
Yeah, it all changes though.
Yeah,
But-
it does. Everything changes.
But hey, but just jumping down back to this, so once again, really knowing the neighborhood. So drive around. You know, okay, I keep using South Reading just because it's right over here. You know, South Reading has 4 pools. They've also added on a little kiddie pool, a pirate pool next to it. You know, there are 3 elementary schools in the neighborhood that pretty much the entire neighborhood goes to. There's a little section that goes out to a 4th. Everybody in South Reading feeds to. It's halfway. We're just trying to get some air.
It's hot in here.
That was sign language. I'm not sure what that meant, but
We're
I
talking
know.
too much.
I know. But the I forget where I was going. Oh, so one high school. So get into the high schools. You know, walk into the elementary schools and say, hey, I sell South Reading. I just wanted to learn a little bit more about your school. Meet the front desk people. Drop off a little plate of cookies. Drop off, you know, your business cards, because a lot of people will actually come into, you know, if they're interested in coming in, they start at the elementary schools. And then, and if you know the front desk staff like me, the one elementary school, I feed them lunch, we do all kinds of stuff. I can't tell you how many referrals I get from them. Because people walk in, they're like, yeah, well, we're moving to the area, we just wanted to check out the schools. Do you have an agent? No. Hey, I have a card, call Dave, he's already here, he supports the school, and then they call me. But if you can get in and introduce yourself to the vice principal or the principal, once again, that tells you know the neighborhood. If I'm taking Lamont and Kim around to show homes, and I'm like, yep, that's Little River Elementary, they've got 920 students in that school. They only have half-day kindergarten now, they'll be full day next year. And Julie's the principal, Julie Gross, she's really nice. I'm like, okay, you know the neighborhood. If you're driving by and they're like, what school's that? And it's like, hang on, I gotta get closer to the sign. It's like, okay, you don't know the neighborhood. Be able to talk to it. Be able to talk to the community rooms, be able to talk to what events they have. Here we've got an Oktoberfest, we have 2 business expos, we have yard sales, we have, most of the time we have like a big festival every year. We didn't this year, but we have big festivals. Just know what's going on.
Well, see, that's where I think it's a disadvantage trying to sell all over, because you can't know that about every place. You can do your research before you take somebody there.
Start big picture though. So like, where do you live right now?
I live in Piedmont.
Piedmont, okay, yeah, that's right, so you're out there, but so a lot of your stuff is, that you're probably handling is your customers, are they Gainesville and Piedmont, or are they all over?
Loudon, lots of Loudon.
Okay.
There's a lot of leads coming
Okay,
from Loudon.
so then do the big picture first, look at Ashburn. Look at Ashburn and realize, hey, Ashburn, it's like, okay, Ashburn Village, Ashburn Farm are the 2 original sections of Ashburn. And me, I'm to an advantage. I grew up, you did too, right? We're right here?
Mhm.
Yeah, so, I was born and raised here, so, I remember all these roads being 2-lane little roads. 28 used to be 2 lanes with 3 traffic lights. So, so when Ashburn Village came and we had friends move out there, they got excited when like Domino's came to be able to deliver. But, so learn about Ashburn. Even our new website we're going through now and doing sort of towns. So when people pull on Ashburn or Leesburg or Woodbridge or, just know what's out there. So I would say go ahead and look at the top level and then even if you're brand new, go drive around.
I've been doing that a lot. Anytime I go home, I go a different way.
Yeah, go a different way, cut through a
I've been
neighborhood.
doing this 11 years, I still get lost going to 7-Eleven, so, I mean, it's good to know certain things, but
Yeah,
it's
just-
Something about
handle
this area
it,
of Loudoun
yeah.
County, I get so turned
Yeah,
around.
well, and that's because like Loudoun County Parkway doesn't connect and
Thank
there's
God
all
for
these.
GPS.
Yeah, no
Always
kidding.
lost.
Wait, it's the reason
Yes,
why.
exactly. Wait.
Well, but Arlington's that way too, because you can be like on 6th Street, I think it's 6th Street, you can be on 6th Street and it ends, there's woods, and then you can see the street and that's 6th Street continued. But, somehow you've gotta get around to come around, but yeah, I would say just work on the high level neighborhoods and, even if you just hit the high points, because like you have Piedmont, so hey, there's Piedmont, people don't know that part of Piedmont is outside the gate, some of it's inside the gate, if you're outside, you still can use the inside amenities. Learn where the, all the public parks are, over here we have the multi-purpose center, and South Riding over there, it was, they're adding on now to where they're doing the indoor pool and the indoor diving and, they're adding on to all that. So, if you're knowledgeable about it, it helps. But, and I know, because I am only licensed in Virginia. People will ask me why I don't do Maryland and DC, and it's because I don't know those areas. I'm like you, I don't know, there's times I'll drive by and I'm like, okay, that's a new school, what is that
There's so much to deal
school?
with here, like, I can't even imagine.
And it's
going
changing and
into-
growing and,
Yeah.
Yeah, and you drive all over, the previous, you're all over the place and you see a lot of change.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, but yeah, even if you just use this as a little cheat sheet,
yeah.
and you go through and,
I actually like this,
look
can
at,
you email
I can.
or put it up
I can.
there,
Yep,
cause
we
this
can.
does like work good, and this would be
Yeah.
nice just to, I have a binder, it's my everything binder, and something like this would be good, I just never thought to do it this way, and just do certain
For each.
subdivisions or certain areas.
And it is like good for us that are new when you're kind of just doing back
Even
office
old,
stuff
like-
some days,
Yeah,
just pick a
sometimes,
neighborhood
like,
each
I don't
week
know
or
what's going
something.
on
Okay.
there, so.
let's do lunch. Let's go to lunch, I'll talk to you about, hey, I know Burke Center well, I know South Riding, and I know, there's some neighborhoods that I really know well because either I lived in them or I've done a lot. And, and I could probably give you a lot of these answers
Yeah.
just by sitting down,
I'm
and,
sure
and talking. It's like, we can lean on each other because the same way, it's like, of course, I've probably, I don't know if I've ever sold one in Triangle, but I've sold Dumfries and, some
That's the
Stafford
thing,
and some
when
of the
people
other areas.
research, like, our area, they'll send their clients Woodbridge, Dumfries, North Stafford. They never do Triangle. That's why I do good in Triangle, especially with listings, is because I'm one of the few agents that can get them sold pretty quickly, because they're like, well, how do you get people over here? And I'm like, a lot of it's the Facebook ads and stuff, because people don't know to look for Triangle, or they have a negative connotation of Triangle. So it's one of those when
Susie
you
lives
really,
there.
I know, I'm so bad.
No,
I have all
but
these
yeah.
children that just overrun
Yeah,
Triangle.
but you guys get the idea though. It's like just learn, and like I said, go
And
through
teaches all the time.
go through and preview. You know, and even for sale by owner, go knock on the door. Hey, are you working with the realtor? No, can I at
Amy's
least look?
really good at that. Like,
Yeah.
she's so good at
Yeah,
that.
just go. You know, don't be afraid. You know, what's the worst thing they can do? You know, close the door, or hang up the phone. You know, and you've got to be in that mentality. It's like it's next.
Still be safe though.
Okay, are you okay? It looks like I've like totally confused you. Okay, you good? It's taken a lot in. Lamont and I were just talking about that this morning.
It's a little
that,
by
you
little,
know,
it really is.
it is.
One step at a time.
See
Don't
the
get
high
overwhelmed.
level.
It is
and,
overwhelming, and you just want to produce, you know, you just want to
Yeah.
get leads, you just want to.
Even after being in for years and years and years, like I'm such a slacker with, I really am with things. It's like, I tell him all the time, I'm like, you need to like stay on top of me, because I'm going to be a slacker, and I know I'm going to be a slacker, so when I miss my goals, kick me in the butt. Because you get busy, and that's the thing, like you get so busy. When you finally get busy, you get so busy, you focus on that you don't focus on producing more stuff. That's my biggest thing with new people. I'm like, that's the biggest thing, is you get so busy and then you don't produce, and then you're slow, and then all of a sudden, you know, I still go through this cycle. It sucks.
But it's even like, you know, simple. I was talking to my mentor this morning, and he's like, you just gotta go out and make phone calls now. You got a prospect. I'm like, Jerry, I don't even know what system to use. I don't know what.
But that's it.
So
You
one
know,
thing, and
don't
I'm not
play.
wearing mine,
Just
so,
do it.
and I normally am. One
What do you
thing
do? What do you
simple that you guys can be doing is name badges. And the only reason why I'm not wearing mine is I've lost 3 in 1 week. One is in the Lorton.
I know you said it was
Yeah,
on there
I'm
somewhere.
still mad that I lost it. Something as simple as your everyday errands. Like, I meet people at the Walmart. I meet people, just people knowing that you're in real estate, it sparks a conversation everywhere. It really does. And I, 9 times out of 10, have a name badge on.
Go sit down. Take one of the Remax folders that you've seen. Go
Go
to Starbucks. Go to Starbucks. Sit there with the Remax folder right there and your computer.
Yep.
You could have Facebook up on your computer. People will come talk to you. Hey, are you in real estate? Yeah.
I've
Hey,
been
how's the
in
market?
a Starbucks. It's
And
crazy.
then it's just a matter of, you know, how do you talk to them? So she already knows this because she follows time and all that. If I ask you how's the market, what do you say?
Depends. The market's what you make it.
Okay, well, what do you say?
It depends on where you're looking.
Okay, what do you say?
Are you a buyer or
It
seller?
depends on what you make it.
Okay.
Probably a buyer.
Well, then this is it could be a buyer or seller customer.
I think it
So,
depends,
it
depends
is.
where you are.
Well, and that's it. You know, and there's many different ways. You know, that depends. Are you looking to buy, sell, invest?
That's my
or
first thing. Are you looking,
You know,
are you looking to buy or
because-
sell? And
Because
where
what
is
you
it?
don't want to do is
Yep.
say, it is on fire, it's awesome, look at my new Mercedes, you know, I've sold 20 houses, and they're like, great, we're getting ready to short sell our home.
Yeah.
You know, or we're going through foreclosure, you know, because it's
Yeah.
different for everybody. So, you know, really dig deep and ask 2 or
Like
3
even
more
when your wife
questions.
was, she stopped by the open house at the very end. There was a client there that they really liked it, and I needed them to come back upstairs to fill out, because I happened to be downstairs, fill out my little, I do open house, sign-in cards. I don't do the list, because I do a little, drawing for like $10, $20, that was like a $15 gift card, Starbucks card, but, those people, they ended up having a realtor, but I still had them come upstairs and fill out their stuff, and I said, hey, can you just give me your realtor's information? I'd like to thank them for sending you guys over, and I'll send them any of my new listings that come on the market in this area, because I have several people that are potentially willing to purchase. Guess what? They didn't really have a realtor. They called me today and said they really liked me and they wanted me to look at houses with
Yeah,
me.
that's tough about them.
Yeah, and they actually gave me a name, and like, your wife and I, we were convinced, they gave me a name and
Okay, so that's
everything, and they're
honestly-
like, well, actually, we were talking, blah, 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 and so, that was the one that I showed this morning,
Just
so
be
it's,
genuine. Follow
you
up.
just never know.
I have a hard time getting them to always fill out their information.
That's why you
I-
do the gift card, you know
I
why?
did.
Or the raffle.
I have
So, they
been.
always fill out the correct stuff, because they wanna win it.
Yeah.
And I don't tell them what it is.
Last 2, I did the raffle, because I
Yeah,
heard from
the raffle
or
was
somebody.
good, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought, oh, that's great, and it's still.
so-
I use Open Home Pro. It's on the iPad.
Is that the one you,
Is that the one?
is that
Yeah.
the one you were talking about?
That's the one that,
It's worked well.
yeah.
Yeah, I used that for a while, and for me, like, where, I don't know, maybe I'm
Well,
just not.
See,
tech
where
savvy.
I liked it is
Not
I
all of
don't
them would
have to.
fill it out, they would
People
put,
don't like it, yeah,
Yeah.
we got bogus
People
stuff
You're
don't
not
like
gonna
it.
like every, you know, who cares?
Yeah.
Next.
I got
you know.
more bogus
Where do you
stuff.
get your
on
cards?
that. Well, I just made them, publisher,
Okay.
it's
But
just a
still, how many
little,
times can't you read the writing though?
Oh, I know.
Oh, I go over
So,
it with them.
so with Open Home Pro, it's like, you know, it's.
So I
at
actually
Remax
go
dot
over
net.
it with them, I'm like, I'll actually grab their card, and if, like, as they have questions, or if they say they have a realtor, I'm writing notes on the back of it. I'm like, oh, well, I'll send you my little lender list, I just wanna make sure your email address is correct, and I'll actually go over it. So,
Then when they're like, it was Yahoo and they put Gmail, you know,
Exactly.
the wrong one, so.
I've had a couple of them where they start liking you by the time they get upstairs, where they come back, they're like, oh, I just wanna make sure I put my correct email address, totally different thing. You just kinda have to smile and.
Yeah, but you're
"Oh, I
right, the
sometimes
little
do the
drawings
same
work.
thing."
And I'll send people back to like a Facebook page or like the business page and have, you know, hey, I'm gonna have my son draw the tags out of the fishbowl tonight and, you know,
I
I'll
do
go.
that, I do a
I'll
video
go
on
home and I'll
Twitter.
video and have him pull out and it's like, hey, oh, I won, great, thank you.
Sorry, guys.
But yeah, we're good, we're good.
Yeah. What, you have a question in here, what makes this subdivision unique? What are some things that, you know, people look for or that you find unique?
Yep, and I think that all changes, but, so you look at like some of the new subdivisions that we have within South Riding. So South Riding was sort of the first thing that was out this way, and what it was known for is it was a very family neighborhood. Almost everybody had family and kids in here because they could all walk to schools, they've got the pools, tennis, basketball court, all the, you know, the Santa coming around, the fire truck, the Easter egg roll, the 4th of July, fireworks, you name it. Well, over here, there's a cluster of 20 houses that are all the same price, maybe a little bit bigger house, but it's like, okay, they don't have a pool, they don't have a swim team, you know, they don't have, you know, so I would say that what makes like a South Riding unique is like, hey, they've got 4 pools, they've got a kiddie pool, you know, and even to get in depth, hey, 2 of the pools are 0 entry, you know, those little 0 entry, so if you've got a little toddler, they can sit right there in the water and don't have to, here, learn how to swim in the 3 feet water. You know, simple things like the swim team. You know, our swim team is so large that we have 3 swim teams. We have a mini ray, a stingray, and an ODS. You know,
Wow.
and you know, and those are just the things that you can talk about. And so you
So
know,
you really have to drill down.
well, you can, but also if I'm coming to you and I'm like, I have 2 kids, and so Dave, tell me, or Casey, what's important to you? You know, what do your kids do? Oh, they play soccer and they're on the swim team and they're all this. And it's like, okay, well, you probably don't want to go buy that house in that neighborhood with 20 where there's no pool. You're not going to have a swim team, you know, that community feel. And so, you know, let's look at like the Brambletons and the Broadlands and the Stone Ridges and the, you know, South Riding and Greenbrier, you know, all these neighborhoods that have.
And so that's where the previews comes in, because you really have to.
Because now you know.
Yeah.
You know, now you know.